Welcome to this tutorial which explains in detail how to install deltasql on any computer. And deltasql is a PHP program which runs with help of a MySQL database, and you can imagine deltasql as a program which runs in a sort of framework. And in this tutorial we explain how to install the framework and how to get deltasql up and running so that it integrates also with the database. And we choose this framework, which you can download from www.apachefriends.org. It's called XAMPP. You can find it also if you search in Google for XAMPP download. The framework itself, it's available for Linux, Windows, Mac OS X, Solaris, so that deltasql also runs on all these operating systems. And here we choose Windows, so you can follow this link and download an installer which will install XAMPP. And looking at what the package XAMPP contains, it contains an Apache, a database MySQL, and the Apache has also the PHP module. PHP-MyAdmin is a front end for the MySQL library. So if you go down, you can click to download and get the package. The other package you need is deltasql itself. You probably already know this URL, sourceforge.net projects deltasql, and you can click on this download button where you will then get the latest version. So after some minutes you will get two packages. One is the installer of XAMPP and the other one is deltasql. So now we can start and launch the setup of XAMPP. There is some warning on the Windows 7 platform. You can install XAMPP with the default. Next, and you can install it. It will be installed, as you can see here, under hard drive C XAMPP by default in the root directory. This will take about 5-6 minutes and will not require you to enter any passwords or whatever. I already did it now to save some time, so I can click cancel. And as next step, you can start the XAMPP control panel, which will be, the shortcut will be on your desktop and look like this. This is the XAMPP control panel, and as you can see, you can start the Apache, which will provide the web pages, and you can start the MySQL database. To start it, simply click on start. If you get it running here, it means that everything is okay. Now let's start the database as well, and XAMPP is installed. You can check if it is working fine. If you go to a local URL, so it is composed by the local IP, HTTP, and this one says 101. This should go to the XAMPP page. If you get this page and not some loading error, it means that XAMPP was installed correctly. And as next step, we can care about the deltasql package. Now we have the XAMPP framework up and running, and we miss the deltasql package. So you need to decompress the zip file with this, and I already did it also because it takes some time, as the package is now about 12 megabytes. And now the key point is that you need to copy the uncompressed folder. Maybe I do it here. I copy it, and you need to place it in a particular folder under C xmpp htdocs. So all files which will be here in this htdocs folder will be served by the Apache framework. So we paste it here, and we can see that the copy is progressing. Voila, deltasql is here. If you want, you can rename this to something. For example, you can remove the version this way, and we can now surf to this deltasql page. So we go back to the XMPP windows, we remove this, and we add the deltasql folder. And now we are almost done, because deltasql is provided by Apache. We just need to set it up. And this is an easy step, because we provide a special page where you can set everything. So each of the settings is carefully explained. Just if you need to do it fast, you can set a password for the admin user deltasql. I will set it to admin. The other settings you can leave them as they are. There is no MySQL root password in the default Apache XAMPP setup. There are more options. If you are fine with the defaults, you can click setup deltasql. Voila, this is everything. Now deltasql is ready. You can log in with username admin, password admin. You can then create a new project, test project, and work with deltasql. Deltasql is already set up. Now some additional information if something should go wrong. So one particular thing of this version of XMPP was that there was some strict setting on PHP ini. So if you go to XMPP to this file, see XMPP PHP, there is a file called PHP ini, and it was set in this way, and I set it to the default value in order for deltasql to work correctly. But this is only for this particular XAMPP setup. I never had to do it before. Another thing you should remember, in case for some reason the setup step didn't work correctly, how can you reset the situation back to the previous where you have the please setup deltasql? You can do like this. You can browse to the htdocs directory again, deltasql folder, you copy it, and configuration, and you can delete this config inc file. So let's delete it. If we now browse to the deltasql, if I refresh here the page, we are back to the situation where you need to set it up. If you set it up again, be sure to take another user and another database name, or you would need to drop the database. For example, you can choose deltasql 4, and also well, it was 140. This version is 140. You can set it like this, then you set it up, and you have another deltasql setup up and running. Now to show you the last thing, where are the tables of deltasql. You can browse through this URL php my admin, which is an interface to the MySQL database provided by Apache. And if you see here, this deltasql and deltasql 1.4, this is another test I did. These are schemas where all tables of deltasql are in there. If you browse back to, for example, to this deltasql and we check the TB project table, we will see that the test project we added before is in there here. This concludes our video on how to set up deltasql. Have fun!